Okay. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the January 18th, 2023. Happy New Year. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Starting off with roll call. Commissioners, Aaron Asmus. Here. Summer Darrell. Here. Bill Norman. Here. Mark Sullivan. Here. Jennifer Posaka. Are you on Zoom?
I don't see anybody in Zoom.
I make a motion that we excuse Jennifer from tonight's meeting.
I'll second that. Motion carries. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is our approvals for the minutes meeting of December 14th, 2022. Let's see. Has anybody had a chance to let me give you a few minutes and then. Any comments or revisions or modifications?
Motion to approve the minutes presented.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minute meetings of December 14th, 2022 are approved. Are there any public comments, either in person at the meeting or online?
We just have one participant online.
Okay. Item number 5, discussion. So this is when we start talking, I know we talked about periodically this work plan 2023, opportunities and planning. So it's really looking at what things that are going to happen this year that we know about. And I know that Mark Sala has worked on this event calendar, and that was included in your package of calendar events for 2023. So the thing that I would like to add on there is that we include on August, and let's not forget the Washinton Snack Fest. That was one of those favorite events that were listed in the favorite events for this summer. So that would also be listed in considered.
Do we know? August? Do we know if it's only gonna be August? So
Well,
I had to hear it was like 6 to 8 weeks, wasn't it?
I thought it was, yeah. I mean, I can reach out to Joe and just ask.
I was gonna do the same.
okay, I like that. If either one of you or both could reach out to Joe and clarify those dates. Yeah, there was a flyer and it said about that during August, there was a snack shack and live band music and they said,
Yeah,
like,
they did, they brought in music and then they brought in food trucks. for
And food
August.
trucks.
And I think it was through September, didn't it?
I think it did.
I feel like it was like.
I remember seeing the flyer throughout the city.
it was definitely in mid-September. I don't know if we got it for.
I feel like it was. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, okay, yeah, I'll reach out to Joe and see if he's got a idea on what they're gonna do this year.
Okay, so on the, I'll put you on the to-do list, Aaron. We're gonna sort of look at to-do for Aaron. Contact Joe. Understand that.
David,
Yes, sir.
would you be so kind to have someone update the calendar that with the corrections, with the updates that I did?
Oh, yes,
And have that sent out to everybody.
I will do that.
I went out and got.
And I have a few others to add.
A few of the dates.
Good.
That we have here. Went to the Rotary, the library and, met with Jim Camp and got as many that he had, but there's still. Like she said, you guys are so far ahead. And I said, well, that's a good thing. She said, yeah, it is. But there's still some that haven't reported back yet.
Mhm.
So, she's gonna reach out to them. And hopefully within the next week or two, we should have this thing with all dates. So,
Okay, very good. Thank you for that, all that hard work too.
Just to add more hard work to it, could we get some links to some of these, if there are any groups associated, et cetera, so that this should be a active clickable list? Thanks.
Okay, so then we're gonna add on our planning calendar the links so that we can immediately link in, read more about it.
you mean like if it's the rim ride, there should be a link from the Kiwanis, so that was unique. Great.
Father daughter dance, where you like tickets.
Exactly.
Is this, are we talking about doing,
I'm trying to remember, did you do the flyer last year for the summer, the movies in the park and stuff? Was that you creating that?
I didn't know. I would like to know who does that.
Yeah, okay, nobody knows.
For what? I'm sorry, I didn't.
There is an organization on the poster.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's handed out?
I think it's done by the city.
Yeah, it had the movies in the park,
This is the
name, and.
Oh, I thought it was.
I bet you that was the Rotary. Because that's all Rotary stuff.
Purple fire?
Yeah.
And we're getting out.
Yeah, I think that's Rotary.
We certainly need something
Like that.
like that.
I asked,
Okay.
the,
So who would contact in the Rotary or?
I got Tom Chamberlain or Dan Dune on the council
Okay,
because.
Mark, I'm gonna put you down.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice job, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark is
Yeah, because I did ask today, I asked Tom, when we were getting all the Rotary stuff, about the movies. And he said they should know more this week or next week, something like, another thing, TBD, shortly.
Okay, so,
That's big is the movies, and the Rotary does all that too.
so I have on the to-do list, you're added to do that. And click on that.
Okay, you own.
I think that was called on the poster, the summer festival.
Yeah,
yeah,
Something
something like that.
it feels like a real communications director sort of thing.
Yeah, it was done before I got here.
Now it does.
No part of your job.
Well, yeah, I think it was announced, it was a different group that put that together. It wasn't the city.
And the one thing that we had last year, as you recall, we had the, like the summer event, and it was on a sheet that we handed out, but it was too small, so this time we're gonna make that sheet larger.
Well, what I would like to do is communicate to whoever designs the poster to design it in a way so that it can also work as a handout. The poster had quite a bit of space relegated to artwork, and the text was kind of small.
You need some different formats.
Yeah.
Different, including a digital format.
Robin, don't you do that kind of stuff?
Sure.
Well, I do some,
The half sheet size that we were handing out. Then if you slap the QR code on the larger poster, that can link to the city, if the city had a landing page that doesn't look like a city landing page, but looks, inviting and friendly and things we talked about. That has these pieces that they can easily then click off of and go to those different places.
There you go.
That would make it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to help out with that.
Yeah. Giant, QR codes. I love QR codes.
I think that's your thing.
Like a lifesaver.
QR codes, yes, the QR code, so. I think that that's good and that we tried it last year, but we know we had some enhancements that we needed to make. And so making it larger to read, the QR codes. And we'll get a list from the Rotary, it's the Rotary, correct? That does the movies, I'm sorry. And then we'll have a list of that. And we'll get these ready prior to farmer's market so that we have the display set.
Yeah, movies don't start until the 4th of July, so.
So we have lots of time.
We've got some time.
We have plenty of
But there's
time.
still, just to let you know, if we're gonna meet the, I call it summer festival calendar, Okay, there's gonna be stuff in the spring that we're
Yeah,
gonna
we've got
do.
all Easter stuff,
Absolutely, that we got the.
I agree. Mhm.
We've got,
probably about dance.
the father-daughter dance, we've got, the spring cleanup. Yeah, there's a number of things there. The memorial, the Rotary, luminaries, yeah.
Mark, are you suggesting there should also be somewhat of a spring festival poster?
Yeah, that, and I think the movie one should just be separate by itself. You know, here's a list of the movies, so people,
Yes.
here's what movies are gonna be at,
Yes.
what days and what parks they're gonna be at.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then we have the main one that lists all our. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, I think letting, part of this, right, is the outreach, is letting people know that we actually have an official-ish calendar of events. Because that's number one on everybody's
Always wondering.
low complaining list, yeah.
Yep.
We need to call it the calendar of events or whatever it is, so everyone knows that there is one and where they can get them, and we start putting them places.
Mhm.
Well, and if we have,
Exactly.
if we have the official calendar as a bigger piece, and whether we include or don't include the movies on it, if we included, again, a QR code saying, find out about movies in the park by clicking this, it's evergreen. So we're not locked into dates, hours, locations, movies or whatever. It could live on that poster in April and May, when
Well, we-
no idea what movies they're going to be doing, you know.
Well, yeah, this can be like a living document, because there's something we're not going to know, we have to put TBD on there, you know? And then the people have to keep checking back too.
Sure.
And so if we can have that calendar event and have a quick link to the website, so people can easily go in there.
Would we put this on the city website?
I think so. You know, we do have an events webpage, and I've not been satisfied with the extent of the content on there. I thought there should be some more stuff, and, you know, we've got the list now and we got dates now. And I like the idea of being able to lead people to that webpage. Mostly it's been focused on summer activities plus winter glow.
Mhm.
And as you've been saying, you know, there's the father-daughter dance.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch.
We have a full calendar, we have a full
Yeah,
calendar.
we do have full calendar.
Like I think this is great on the fourth Saturday, and that this, have this spring cleanup, and that's something I personally didn't know about, and might have a lot of residents who might be very. willing to do that.
Because they set up an area over in, Town Square, with waste
Mhm.
management's out in the field there. And you just bring your stuff to waste management, and we accept it, and off you go.
Just to go one deeper on this, beyond the link,
Go for
it would sure be nice to have a little blurb about each thing, these things that happen regularly, these classic events, you know. Typically, this, you know, Winter Glow happens at the first week of blah, blah, blah. Typically, you bring your, you know, this is the event where you bring your bag, and a lot of people don't have that information, you know, what.
So are you saying more than just the name of the date, but
Right.
explain?
Yeah,
Underneath.
a
it,
small
a
word,
small
right?
bookmark.
explanation. And again, a lot of these things are, they're repeated events, right? So there's that aspect, but also, you know, what do we need to know about it? It doesn't have to be the full details. That's where you throw in the link for more details. But I think it also builds the character of that thing, because everybody knows, oh, the golf, you know, usually it's an Alpine Shores and you bring your golf cart and this.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, and they know, you know, and then you ask and people say, I think it's this, and we're trying to avoid, I think it's, and then you miss it and then you're bummed.
Well,
Yeah.
another big thing that's coming up is the garage sale this year, put on by the Kiwanis. It's only one day.
Is that the yard sale? Is that the yard sale?
Yeah,
Okay.
And, you know, it used to,
in the past, it was one.
Friday, well, and then it's been Friday, Saturday.
now for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, it's been Friday, and it just went, the popularity of it. When it was on Saturday, this place was rocking, because it was only one day, and a lot of people lost out because people had to work on Friday, but other people had garage sale or
Right.
yard sale on Friday. Then the people would open up on Saturday, and they only get half of the people that. So I think this is great that they went back to one
And that'd be a
day.
great place to write, this year it's a one
One
day.
day,
event.
yep.
Because people ask that same question.
Absolutely.
Is it 2 days, is it 5 days?
Okay. So,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts? You've been quiet.
well. Mainly because it's hard for me to keep up with them. But
Doubt that.
but I do think that the way the conversation is heading that suggests that whatever we do be easily and quickly linked so that any person can have an up to the minute view of what's going on. Because it's a little bit too much to expect with all of these things that the organizations would meet a deadline that we would impose about submitting dates and places. So one, I think that we're headed in the right direction. Two, I think there's a lot more happening than most people are aware of. Three, I think that involving, well, that gets to our issue, just getting more people to enjoy and take advantage of what's on offer. It's a lot of stuff. So this is a good.
Yeah, and like Tony said, putting that little blip in, because another thing is we've got, a number of new residents who are just brand new into the area that I'm not aware of. And it's just kind of a refresher for us that's been here for a while. And so it's a catch, it catches everybody, if you will. But that's a great idea.
It's fun to write that it's the 21st one of something,
Absolutely.
that's cool.
Absolutely. By the way, and this is a little bit off topic, something to make a note of later. If somehow we could create a landing space that says, so you're new to Liberty Lake, that would kind of then begin to channel them into these resources that are available, both that provide information, right, and that also that provide services.
Do they have a welcome? Do people that have a welcome lady?
Not that I'm.
Not official one as far as I know.
Not that I'm aware of, that.
Yeah, it's just curious because if we had a welcome wagon, it'd be great to have, a card in there,
Mark's welcome wagon.
I love it.
with Aaron as his assistant.
I love it. I love it.
I love it.
No, but it's just.
No, it's great. With, ability to fill in whatever we already have, with fill in information to sign up for any of our, lists,
Yeah,
et cetera.
Yeah.
A calendar of events in there.
Because right now, the only thing that we have is farmer's market,
Sure.
to get the information out. Or if people do go to the, how many, do they track how many people view the website?
We do have access to that data, like, I think based on per page.
And unique, sure, unique business.
Yeah, because that would be something good to know, but.
You brought something up too about the farmer's market being the only thing. I know we did, barefoot in the park and we had our setup there.
Oh, yeah.
Do we care about any of these things, establishing our presence specifically, or at all of them, or as many as people are available to volunteer their time for, or what do we think about that?
Well. There's the Easter egg hunt, that's the Saturday before, and that's put on by, Wendy Van Orman, Councilwoman, Councilperson Wendy Van Orman and her family. That could be one of them.
And even if it's as simple as the printed calendar events.
Yeah,
Or, QR codes and stuff.
I'm just looking through the calendar right now, the Windermere Marathon. That could be something we can look at. Memorial Day weekend. I know that's the Rotary, but we might, I don't know, that's a good thought. I mean, the 3-on-3 basketball tournament, there was a little rain last year, but they still played, so. And that Rotary Soapbox Derby, by the way, on Walter, that is listed here, that is not our Rotary that does that. The Valley or the Spokane Rotary, by the way. Yeah. They just do it on Walter because of the right.
Good hill.
I have a quick question for you, David. I remember on the last farmer's market, we did some type of display with regards to the, you wanted some ideas for the city website. You were going to think about reorganize it and redoing that. Is that coming up soon? Because then we could include some of these ideas on that.
Yeah, there's no real reorganization of the website. It's just more of what do we need to update? What are people looking for? It's
Refresh,
did
you say?
a good website is always a refresh. So that's how I'm looking at it. Like, what do people want to find? What's the high priority for them? And that was the purpose of that. I was wanting to know, how do we make the current website more accessible, more meaningful and useful to people? Are we redoing the website? No, we're not. Someday, yes. Right now, no. But at that point, I was wanting to know, what do we need to get up there up front that are high priority items to people that maybe we don't have up there right now?
Well, I don't know what you're envisioning as far as that process, but one of the things that I've done in the past for one of the companies I work with is we brought a group in to do a combination of heat mapping of the website. So you can see physically where people are going and clicking and what they're looking for. And then they did it in conjunction with the analytics that would come from each of the pages as far as how much time they're spending on each of the pages, where they're clicking through, keywords that they're searching for that are the most common. And to be honest, I mean, those would be the things that I would look at as a starting place. Because I feel like we could all spitball and have conversations about what we think is important. But when people go to the physical website and are physically moving the mouse around and clicking on things, that's going to tell us what people are actually going to the city's website to look for. You know, is it the trash schedules? Is it, is it events? Is it, city budgets? I mean, who knows? But those are three things I've seen done in the past, and they can be really effective when we went through a website change. It made a really big difference as far as determining where to spend the most amount of time and how to bring words forward that were more relatable to the people that were coming to visit the site.
I think that's a really, that's a great idea, yeah, for them to do that.
It was the company that did it was awesome. I mean, it was really cool to see. The heat maps were really cool to see because you can physically see where it's like, someone's thumbprint almost it looks like. It's cool. I mean, you'd have to bring in somebody to do it, to do that piece of it. But I mean, the site analytics are there. I mean, to be able to, you can easily pull that. Yeah, you can pull together how much time people are spending on individual pages, whether they're clicking off of it. How much of it is an accident? Right. Oops, back on
Okay, so I think we presented some ideas. We know that it should go on that website. We feel it should be a linkage to these events so that people can just maybe click on. It should be a QR code. And then we'll collect some information. Let's keep this work plan ahead and keep it going and living, basically. Always it's a living document. Keep it up to date. And looking at, January, we have the disassemble the winter globe, but then we have like February, March, April. So probably we need to at least put out something out on the website that we know about for those so that people know.
For these 3 months, yeah.
And are there some other events we're missing there that you know
Can
of?
anybody think of any other events that we're missing?
Doing a podcast launch date.
Further down the agenda.
Okay.
I checked with Jen Camp today about that, we were missing anything. And she went through it piece by piece by piece with me. And we were pretty well spot on from what we had. But there were things like what you brought up, the food truck thing over at Rocky Hills. As we go through this, I think we're just gonna have, oh yeah, I remember that, that's the way it's gonna be.
Yeah.
But right now, I would definitely want to jump on, at least what we got coming up in February with the Friends of the Library doing their Valentine's gift basket. It's being advertised right now on the reader board. I saw it over there on Apple or whatever that is, Country Vista and Liberty Lake Road by the golf course. But I think, if we can promote that for them, either on the what we were talking about to the website. But who's going, my question is, I'm sorry, I'm not into all this tech like Aaron is, but who would we have to set this all up for us?
Set which up?
Set up this web page that we're talking about with the QR code?
Oh, we've got a spot for that right now.
Oh, it's already
Yeah.
set. Oh,
It just
okay.
needs to be improved and expanded.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking at that today. We've still got, last year's dates on some of those annual events. And so I was making some contacts saying, do we know the new dates for this year yet?
Now, who manages that? You? Oh,
So we're gonna post this on the city page, correct?
Yeah, it's already, yeah. The page is there, just needs to be updated with new events and 2023 dates.
oh, okay, good.
Oh, okay.
Well, then that's the bell right there. Did you set a QR code and all that good stuff and the links? and everything?
I can do that.
Get the mobile version of the thing.
If you need chatting about
So,
this.
so for the immediate, because you know, February, March, April, that's what you do then. You'll put that on the city, posted it on the city
Yep.
web page and everything, okay. And I noticed, for example, like in March, it says Kiwanis, Father, Daughter, Dance. Does the Kiwanis do their own PR work? Or as far as?
I think it's all through the city. I don't know.
They
They do the A-frames and, just like what we do with Wintergrove. The city does the A-frames and, and that type of thing. And they probably have it on the reader board.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's on the website.
No.
Will be now. 'Cause we
It's-
got David's gonna put it on
I think the
website.
event's being held at a
We have
hotel.
that put
Spectrum.
into you.
We just need to know.
No, Marabou Park.
Marabou Park, yeah,
It's,
it's always been.
yeah, the same.
And we gotta find out what the cost is. and all that.
I mean, so they have their.
Oh, they got it.
They've got theirs, so we just need to link to theirs.
That's perfect, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yes, put it in.
I got it.
No,
And
no,
then we'll link to theirs, right.
as much as we can link to them. And I would say also on the mobile version, there's no space for events, so then if you're scrolling down to the newsflash items, if there isn't an icon for events or anything like that, I think that would be
On the city page.
on the city page. Yes. The mobile version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me afterwards to give me details on that, okay?
Yes. The other, as we're talking about events, the one thing that just came to mind is an option for some of this to put the legwork back on the organizations that are running these events is if we came up with just a really simple format of here's the 5 things to be included on the special
Submission-
thing,
admission forms.
right? Yeah, we
Yeah.
need some sort of submission. We need some sort of process so that it's streamlined for the organizations.
So for
And
the,
for the city to be able to manage.
A process for what?
For them to submit the information so that,
So
we're
they-
not, so that we don't have to go out and try and
Right. We
dig
need a
up
link, a
websites.
phone number.
link phone number, dates,
Yeah.
costs.
so just an
Maybe five.
example, the father daughter, we go to the form, here's the form for the father. Give us all the
We want to
information.
include you on the city website
Yes.
to be able to include you properly so that people have the right information. Here's the 5 things that we need from you. Your website,
A blurb.
a blurb,
One sentence.
whether we want cost or not, I don't know that we really care, but we need something
Link.
that
A
makes
link.
it easy for David. If he's gonna be updating this,
A link.
that, yeah,
The link.
And we're not going back and forth and having to dig up that information, so, them providing the blurb back to us would be, I think, definitely part of that too.
And you never know, you might want, this is either something you do want or don't want, but at some point, these events, most of them are repeating and have been here and are sort of vetted and all that, but maybe there is a place for submit your event, and that could make it onto some sort of additional calendar, like, other events not sponsored by, or whatever, whatever that is, because again, community engagement, I think we need to at least see what those things are, and then they would be vetted and you don't have to post them, but something.
And I think what we can do is one big swoop. I'm using the library as an example, okay? You've got they got like 4 or 5 events throughout the year. Submit them all at once. Well, we have them.
Yeah.
And 3 months out, okay, we've got the library story coming up in July. But then in May, we start, or June, May, we start advertising. We do the same thing with the Kiwanis, you know, and the Rotary and everybody, and with all the information, I can do the winners one. We've got the golf tournament, the auction, and then the actual winners. So, yeah, I think,
Okay.
so what would we want on this form?
Okay, I was like, Bill, is there anything that you thought you had to do?
No.
Are we trending in the correct direction?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm good.
So what would we want on this form? Exactly. It has to be pretty,
It's the same stuff you, I mean, it's pretty much.
It's
based
it's
on
basic
that,
stuff.
which is, you know, it's the name of the title of the event, the contact point person.
Date, time, location,
Yeah. the-
Description,
where
contact.
am I? And a little blurb that could possibly be written by you, but they could submit something that you could pull from.
I think
But
that's.
the voice of it coming from our side would be better. So it's not advertisement necessarily for it, it's
right,
a chance for us to.
okay.
Okay. Good idea.
So we would need a contact with.
And then link to
Kiwanis.
the photos of the event.
We need a contact.
I'm taking a photo of every event.
So we would need a contact with the Kiwanis, we need a contact with the Rotary, need their email address.
Again, and it could be in with, you know, within their, I mean, they should have a link. that's
Yeah.
up to date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean, yeah.
They've got a website or a Facebook contact.
Oh, speaking of that, do we have, at least I don't know about the mobile, I mean, the desktop version, but do we have our socials, like Facebook and everything linked on the city website, get the city stuff? Is it somewhere?
Bottom of the homepage. There's not a lot to look for, but that's what we have.
Okay.
Here's another.
And we are not currently planning to add TikTok, by the way.
I come after your podcast.
Mhm. Did we do nothing else? 'Cause,
I think so. You like the main thrust I wanted for this meeting. And of course, this is a conversation to continue in February.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get some, as much fruit on the vine as we could for February, March, April. Just so some of those things could be promoted, particularly if I decided to do a spring events poster or flyer of some sort. Really, that's got to go out end of January. Well,
Yeah.
it's probably too late to really do the Friends of the Library thing, February 1st, but we do want to promote that one start of March. Easter, spring cleanup. And I was wondering about that too. I'm going to talk with staff tomorrow to see if
Not all of them, but there must be
some key ones.
And what about things like food drives and things that are a little, again, still sanctioned in some way, but, the point stuff like a food, yeah, I don't know, something.
They do.
I don't know, for the next little level, you know, these are our usual ones. We have other usual ones too, and I know we've all been racking our mind, but I'm just wondering if there's some other things that are like, I'm thinking food drives, things that are in that space, in that altruistic space, more than just the festival stuff. Cause I know we have it,
Well, there's, yeah, I mean, the Boy Scouts do tree pickup. That happens, post Christmas. And then the high school kids do canned food drive on Halloween.
There you go.
And so that's something that's always taking place. I remember.
Blood drives,
I don't know, were there?
Oh, we have I mean, this is a different thing, but like we had, the mobile COVID thing coming in. Do we have a mobile blood drive? Is there something else? Let's just look.
I wonder if like at TCU and their headquarters, I wonder if they do. Yeah, because I would think like an organization like that, I know I've seen other banks or
Right.
credit unions
Right.
do that type of work.
I'll contact maybe.
Great.
Yeah,
It'd be nice to have that kind of engagement on there.
yeah.
Okay, so Mark's gonna contact you.
Bill's got a brilliant
well,
idea.
no, I was going to say, with what we've already got on our radar, if David needs help reaching out to some of the people to engage them and to get the information from them that we're going to require, then I certainly can help do that.
Excellent. Your name is now on the to-do list, whatever we can find.
And really production wise, if we do any kind of a flyer, poster, signage to put up around places. That's gotta be done like around the time of the next meeting or before.
Yes.
So I would
okay.
need any new information,
Mm.
organizations to contact within the next few weeks.
Well, we have an artistic person here within the city that does that kind of stuff.
How artistic.
But
You mean like doing signs? Poster, yeah,
You?
yeah.
Oh,
Did you see, did you see the rebranding of Barefoot in the Park last summer? That was me.
good job.
Did you see the new library book sale signs last December? That was me.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, if we have a quick deadline, you know, I guess we could probably look at it as the upcoming season, so we should look up to spring, and not worry too much about, you know, going further than that if we have a crazy deadline, we don't have anything.
That's what I'm saying, that we should just look right, yeah.
We get the-
Yeah.
we go into May,
Mhm.
we're about 60 days out, and then from there, we just, it's domino effect.
Right, here's another option to consider on the flyer is maybe you have them somewhat overlap seasons.
Yeah.
So maybe your
Yeah.
first flyer is going out covering March, April, May, and June. And then the second one is gonna be May, June, July, right? And then maybe you have a third one that's going July, August through the end of the year. So that you're capturing. You got a little bit of a buffer. Yeah, it's more of a rule. Yeah,
Excited if we have a full calendar page,
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
really exciting.
I don't know, I don't know. if
A refrigerator
it's
magnet.
working, but if we're creating multiple,
Right?
So the winter one will be like an index card.
Well, that's what I'm trying not to, that's because that's what it would end up happening. If you go winter, you got, well, we got three things happening. I'm like, well, there's more that happens, so we can add those things in.
A really big QR code.
Yeah, giant QR code. But if you run August through the end of the year, then you've got a fuller, it looks fuller.
Yeah,
Just from a visual standpoint.
I think the nature of something like this, particularly the spring one, since it's the first time, we're not going to capture everything, but if you have the QR code there, there's your opportunity to see new things as they get updated or get notified to us about.
And train people to go to our digital space.
Data tree.
Yeah. Data tree.
Well, then what are the Boy Scouts?
Well, they're already.
Collecting.
they're picking up.
One thing that I don't see on here, and maybe we don't intend it, but I know that there's that bicycling thing that there's.
The rim ride?
Right.
It's on there.
And what about, is there like a fun run?
There's the marathon.
Oh, the turkey trot. There's the turkey trot.
And then there's the Windermere Marathon too?
The Winter Marathon's in May, that's on there.
Right.
Oh, it is.
Um,
And then there's the turkey trot.
Turkey trot, it supports, I can't remember the family. But there's a turkey trot every year, in Lee Park.
Didn't even- I think I did.
I'm assuming Thanksgiving Day or,
Yeah, Thanksgiving morning, starts at 9 o'clock. The Mott, I think it's the Mott family, if I remember right.
Okay.
No, okay, I just realized this, and I know you said that Wendy does this Easter egg hunt. Last year, were there 2 Easter egg hunts?
There was going to be, there's the person that owns, Sweet Annie's, she was gonna do one over at Orchard Park. I'm not sure if she, I'll check with her and
Okay.
see if she is going to. It was so late last year.
Sure.
So she ended up having a petting zoo at her place
Okay.
in places, so. I can follow up on that. Let me put that down.
Okay. I think we'll still keep this sort of living work plan 2023 open. I think we have enough now we can put on the site for at least, you know, the winter. We have some good ideas and we'll keep expanding and keep it on the agenda for next month if that's workable for everybody. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. let's move on to the continuing discussion. So on the public engagement resource update, on the city council, Vent City is going to present a demonstration to the city council on and around February the 7th. So they're going to do their own separate. No decision has been made on this particular platform until they get to see, and they'll probably ask some questions of Vent City Balloon and see if that's the area that's the program that the platform that they'd like to implement. So with that, are there any questions or any extra comments on really the public engagement resource and thoughts on that?
Let me just fill in on that. The earlier plan at the last meeting here was, Mark told us that he was going to be bringing this forth to the city council. I think it was the meeting of December 20th, with the intention of having a budget item ready for the January 3rd meeting. And at the December 20th meeting, there were some council members who just really wanted to know more about what this expenditure was going to be involved with. What does this product do? What does it do differently that something free like SurveyMonkey can't do for us for free? So we were able to arrange this session again with Fahum, who you all saw over the screen here a few months back. The workshop session, go ahead and note this down on your calendar if you can attend. Workshop session again, February 7th, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. here. You're encouraged, if you can, to be here to assist with any information sharing that the council may want to know about regarding all the resources you looked at, what you liked about this one, what your objective was in liking this particular resource, maybe what visions some of you have, and as far as what could be done with this, what features appealed to you with this resources versus some of the others you looked at. Nobody's required to be there, but your presence at that 6 p.m. workshop meeting on the 7th, I think will be helpful to the council in understanding this better and kind of understanding the process and the history of what happened over the summer, and or the recording some of you were able to watch for those of you who joined later on during the year. Any questions or comments on that? Yeah.
I'm gonna really throw a wrench in this whole thing, because it's something I've been thinking about for like the last couple of 3 weeks. I think all 4 of the vendors that we have seen, if we pick any of the 4, I think it'll be a waste of our money. And let me explain why. They are not bringing anything new to help us engage with our public. Okay? All they're doing, and correct me if I'm wrong, all they're doing is collecting data, expounding that data, and presenting it back to us in a form of a spreadsheet, a graph, or whatever. My thought is we take whatever money they've given us for a budget. This is a one-shot deal, okay? We send out to every resident postcard asking them, introducing them to the engagement to us. A lot of people don't know about us. So introducing ourselves to them, the Community Engagement Commission. This is what we do, and this is what we're asking of you. Would you be interested in any of our surveys that we have coming up throughout the course of the year? If so, please send your information to, and we'll have a link set up to this, your email, all that. My thinking is, right now, we've got a handful of people that we talk to at farmers market, okay? Maybe we talk to, 50 people. Of those 50, maybe 25 have participated in our survey, okay? And I'm talking, not particularly residents of Liberty Lake. So that's what I think we ought to focus on, because it's a community engagement. It's Liberty Lake, our community, okay? Once we get that set up, we could have 100, we could have 200. I don't know, it's just, we're all new at this. Okay, then what we can do is take our first survey. We send out a blast email to everybody that signed up, okay? With what we're looking for within the survey. They respond back to us. Then we have someone at the city who will input this information into SurveyMonkey. Okay, my wife, she works at Spokane Community College. They use SurveyMonkey all the time, and it works out great. Cost is minimal, hardly anything. And so we can get the same information, we can get the same results at a fraction of the cost. And that's just my personal opinion on how we want to move forward. Because $12,000 to Zen City plus maintenance fee, just so they can show us all the pretty graphs. And another thing with them, they go pretty deep. Do we need to go that deep? And it's just, what do you think? It's just a suggestion.
I guess from my point of view, I see that we can do both things, which doesn't answer your cost, issue. But I like the postcard idea. I like introducing us. I like doing that. I think that's an interesting part of the campaign. I think that's helpful. I think for me, Zen City, and maybe this is, and I don't want to just go like it's a generational thing or whatever, but I think in this stage of my life, it would be really easy for me to go to a central place and look at all the things that are going on in the timeline, just the way my brain works, seeing all the projects in that way. It's hard enough for me to drop off a ballot sometimes, even if I care. I'm in that stage of life. So for me, one more site that I can have a tab open and look at and check in on while I'm doing other things, just works for my workflow, and my brain speaks to that. So for me, I like that, and I actually felt like when we were looking at the demo, I felt like I actually was engaged with the process. So maybe I don't, maybe I write some little comment, or I see a picture of the new park and I say, that slide looks dangerous. To me, I feel like I have more valued participation in that way than I do sending in the SurveyMonkey, where I feel like, oh, what do they even care? That's just, again, maybe that's my weird, people, how they handle my data. Something about the way that it's sort of, whether it's transparent or not, seems transparent, and I'm looking at it in real time. I liked that part of it.
Has anyone made any effort to contact the people in the cities who are using the service? They gave us a list. A couple of them are in Washington. I know that I did not.
I'll be honest, I did not reach out to those cities directly, but it did go to their city sites to see how they were using it, and it seemed effective. I understand where Mark, where you're coming from, like from a budgetary standpoint, but I think if we look at it from a lens of we're just creating surveys, that's the myth. Because because Zen City and the other platforms and community engagement is not just about surveys, it's about information sharing. We can't do that with surveys, right? We can't do that with free platforms. Not well, right? And I think we can get. I think if we look at the cost of it as the deterrent, then progress to be able to engage with the community effectively is going to be the question. And I will also counter saying, if we only talk to Liberty Lake residents, we're missing the boat. Residents of Liberty Lake, super important. We need to engage with them. That's what the city is here for. But there's also how many thousands of people that come to this city every day, that go to the gas station, that go to Trailhead, that go to the restaurants, that are not residents of the city. How many kids, from Otis Orchards, parents from Otis Orchards that come to the shops in the city. So I think that's the benefit of utilizing a platform like Zen City, is it opens the doors to be able to analyze.
How do they open the doors? That's my question. How do they open the doors to non-residential people? That's where I guess I'm missing the.
So the reason I'm saying open the doors is being able to share a set of information with people outside of our own little purview and bubble. So being able to connect through them through Facebook, through social media means, whatever the case may be. And then being able to understand with the responses that you're getting, where those responses are coming from. Understanding the geotagging that comes with it and going, okay, well, most of our responses are coming from Rocky Hill Park neighborhood, and that's it. Well, then we're missing a huge opportunity to talk with a bunch of other residents. So we got to figure out, how do we solve that? If we just send out a survey monkey and say, here you go, tell us stuff, that's fantastic, and it'll give us something potentially actionable. But if we don't know where the responses are coming from, we don't know where we need to target trying to get more responses. You know, so we don't know where we need to talk to people. Do we need to do a canvassing campaign in in the areas, on the lake, because people aren't responding to us?
And my question is, how are we gonna get this information out?
I was gonna say, that was your earlier point that I think we need to speak to, which is how are we disseminating this information? So I think that's a separate part of the conversation, but I think it needs to be handled, because we can't just expect everyone to just magically show up and do stuff, right? And I don't think there was anything wrong with sending out a postcard campaign to everybody. I love to that, I think we do need that aspect.
That would give us something to start off from, and then we take it from there, and, maybe we take on one of these things. Sure.
I do think that it offers us the chance to do something other than simply increasing the 10 people that we always talk to 100 people. that we always
Absolutely,
talk to.
that's what I'm looking for.
And plus, I think we need to keep in mind what Liberty Lake aspires to be. If we have residents that expect not just modern services, but part of the reason that people live here is because it is forward thinking, and because it is perceived as being a place where people are living in the 21st century.
Honestly, I compare Liberty Lake to Boise. Liberty Lake is a very vivacious town, as Boise is also. And that's the way I look at it. And,
It's young, it's upper mobile, it's growing.
yes, exactly. It's not afraid to grow. And when I moved here 20 years ago, or 19 years ago, moved back here, I left for 4 years, and when I moved back here, the only place I looked was Liberty Lake. Why? Because it reminded me of Boise, and it was very vivacious. And I think a lot of people, that's the reason why they want to live.
So that belief needs to be translated into perhaps a strategic argument, but I think that argues in favor of accepting as part of our responsibility an approach that's consistent with the size of the city and its sophistication, and that's as nice and as warm as being at the farmers market field. And I think it's a great thing to do, that visible kind of thing when people are in their sandals and they've got their, they're buying onions and green. But
Two vegetables I eat.
potatoes, I don't know. But even for that to be meaningful and to be able to quantify it, what it gets us, I do think some kind of service needs to be engaged. And I'm sure there are a lot of them out there. I have a sister-in-law that won't buy anything until she's seen everything, and that means that she doesn't ever buy anything, and we can get caught up in that too.
So there's a group that at least process on this. Does the group agree with with the initiative on going through with the postcard? And is that
I think, going to Mark's point, and I think, in summer, trend as well, I think a mailer piece of some kind going out to the residents
Okay.
is a great idea. What that is a much larger discussion. Because
we
I
can-
think saying,
yes.
here we are, send us your information,
Right. I know.
people aren't gonna send.
It has to be part of a campaign. a
Yeah, it's
strategic
gotta be,
campaign.
I think we really need to think through, what's that first message? How is that first engagement?
Okay.
What does it look like? And again, going back to the look of it, do we want to look sophisticated? Or do we want to look like we just picked the cheapest thing on the shelf? And that is a real issue. I don't,
I know
people
exactly
do
what
review
you're saying.
ideas, like, well, someone gets handed me a.
Well,
Okay,
I
this
agree.
one-
Branding, and that's what you call, that's what branding is everything. And so can we see, can we talk about that and what it looks like for the February and put it on the agenda? Is everybody agreeable to that? I love that phrase. I love that phrase. Okay.
That's why I can table this.
Table.
Well, I don't, looking at the time, I
No, it's a big
contemplated,
conversation.
and it's such a big conversation in and of itself that I don't think we'll get it decided right now, that's all, but,
There's not gonna be a decision made.
but I like the idea of the mailers, and I think that that's intriguing, and how do we, basically it's called, how do we brand ourselves?
You've got a month to think about should be on there or what it should look like. Or you have more than a month. There's no immediate need to send out a card in February.
Right.
But, again, think strategically. What is the purpose of this card? What needs to be on there? And what can be best done with it to best interest and engage the maximum amount of residents who aren't going to just look at it and throw it out with the rest of the junk mail that comes in? Or is it or could it possibly be something we include on the splash page? Would people respond to that? That's another question.
Yeah,
I mean, I like first thought, and obviously we'll discuss it significantly more in February, but it's everything. It's like, yeah, the mailer goes, the postcard goes out, it's in the splash, it's in the current.
And it has-
Liberty Life magazine, I mean,
we signed a plan for this.
yeah, it's everywhere. If we're gonna do something big to get an initial push of engagement. Honestly, the Trailhead project would have been great.
Oh, the trailhead.
We live in
That
Florida.
would have been,
We could have just had time to do the correct design.
Instead of
3 weeks.
We got 3 weeks figured out.
Yeah.
Hey.
But you know what, this is what's really good about the work plan now is that this can be on here and we need to, it's really called branding and that's what we need to do. And when we do this, we need to figure out the design of this.
Mhm.
And that's what I am asking. If, we won't get this decided tonight, but let's talk about this more in depth in February.
Yeah, and
And then come with some ideas, brainstorming ideas that was said, yeah. And look at purposely, how do we do this? What's the avenue?
You got that something else?
yeah, and again, February is no hard deadline to have something done. This is gonna be the card. Flesh out the amount of time you need to do this and do it right, do it strategically.
We're just gonna start doing
Yeah,
the
it's-
design plan.
yeah, it's not like you want to have more than like the 3 weeks to do for Trailhead. Which, by the way, good stuff happened with Trailhead in 3 weeks.
oh, yeah.
For a new group.
Yeah,
But
but you know
this one,
what?
you have more time.
They're definitely been enhanced. So, okay.
3 weeks, I thought it was.
Yeah, it was, for 3 weeks. It was.
I see lights on.
Yeah. Go through, to the city podcast.
Yeah, just want to give you a quick update on that one, very brief. I included with all your packets by email, just a list of the type of topics I'm thinking about, just to let you know where my direction is on this. And I don't want to go public yet with certain things, so I'm not going to be saying specific things verbally here tonight, but you've got the materials. And they are also public documents in case somebody wants to ask for them. But I also wanted to get your feedback, I guess I consider you a little bit of a focus group on what should the name of this thing be. I've proposed two, sort of three, because one of them has the option of having the word "the" in it. But what is the title for this that would resonate with you, that would make you want to listen to it, that would be interesting? One personal requirement I have is I do want to have the two words Liberty Lake in there somewhere. But I also want it to be interesting, fun, engaging, and not just the Liberty Lake podcast. It's got to be something more than it's got to be more than, it's got to have some pizzazz to it. Yeah. I like wordplay, which is why I put down the second one that you see there.
Well, in case you guys didn't know, last month, was in December, December. when, Canada and, We did our own book. Remember? You know what?
Oh, I was wishing it was a podcast, and we were having some good discussion there.
We were sitting there and I was telling them. Talking about it, because, we just did a podcast. This could have been a podcast. I go, well, maybe next year we can do that.
The format is I want to do two of these a week. Roll out the first two episodes, either two on the same day or on consecutive days, just to give people more than one thing to listen to during those first 2 weeks.
About how long?
About 15 minutes. It'll just be mostly a Q&A. And I've been looking for ongoing things to throw in there. And one possibility is having some kind of a trivia question, facts about Liberty Lake, that we would ask the question at the top of the show and then provide, give them like 3 or 4 multiple choice options of what is the answer, and then have the answer at the end. So they got to listen all the way through or fast forward. And possibly that's something Summer could do.
Sure.
I'm proposing you to that
My
for the
thought for
first time.
my thought for that one is you ask a question, and it doesn't have to be, it could be a little more public radio style, which is, do you know the oldest, do you know the oldest living resident in Liberty Lake, whatever. And then the end is you introduce them, and it's just an audio clip of them, my name is Joe Jones, I'm 93 years old, blah, blah, blah. So it's not this real game show element. It's more of just a bite kind of a thing. And that way you could take those, right, and use them in some sort of story hour thing.
Sure.
But you could keep those as really nice little audio pieces. And the question just sort of points to it. I mean, that's kind of my thought on those. But just quickly, when you're talking about putting two together, or just looking at this list that I'm not gonna, just looking at this list, I would say that there's some fun ones or some ones that are really on people's minds that I would say to bring up the, get people engaged a little sooner. So we have those in the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. I think we want to get, less of the nitty gritty workings of the city right away, although I think those are really cool. And I think maybe, I don't know what the format thoughts are, but, making the, traditionally more boring topics shorter.
Yes.
And the traditionally more fun ones perhaps a bit longer.
Yeah.
And really trying to sell people on those elements. I love this going around and getting bits and bits forming throughout this. I think that as you record this, you're going to start finding what works and what's fun, and then make them live on forever and find what works.
And other update, I did get the microphones in the mail yesterday.
Awesome.
So we have physical things to start with.
The only thing I like to add, and I talked to David prior to that, is that Rocky Hill Snapshot, I think to be included.
It's on the
in
list.
The podcast, and as far as titles, I can't give you one right now. I need to think about that.
Yeah, just there's no immediate rush to come up with a title, but looking at certain things we want to promote, like I think it's the next item on the agenda here. I do want to have a podcast on that topic. So yeah, I need to get something released soon.
So how soon?
I don't want to go public it until I'm sure we can do it.
Oh, you mean the city county?
No, the podcast.
The podcast, sorry.
So on the, going back to Summer's point about the kind of public radio format, one of the things that I think is intriguing is when we're interviewing people and announcing kind of those kind of candid responses. So thinking about places that's great opportunities to do that. So farmers market is obviously an easy win. You have people right there asking the same question, get a bunch of responses, would be something.
Yeah.
You know, you could potentially engage people in differently, that it's not just a talking head, so to speak. The other ones that comes to mind that could be a little bit more lighthearted and fun is the schools always host different events. So interviewing some of the kids that are, doing, fun, events outside, and interviewing the teachers and the principals and things like that, and families, and trying to get those folks to engage in the physical podcast, which would then hopefully encourage them to listen and engage with other less exciting topics, maybe. But I think those are pieces like, just going through those radio moments where you listen to a kid talking about, the ice cream thing at the snack shack or whatever, and what that, and how cool it was to have kids running the snack shack and that they were serving them ice cream, all those short 60-second, 120-second kind of infomercials, or nice little lead-ins or closures to something that might be less intriguing otherwise.
Okay,
I really like that idea, for example, like you said, snack shop, it's ask the high schoolers and middle schoolers who's running it, and have them be a part of that podcast.
Yeah.
So,
And then this might be down the line, but something I've been loving. I don't know what you're thinking about for music. You can get some generic little intros and outros and stuff, right? But like Car Talk has always been one of my favorite.
Yeah.
All the songs are about cars, right? And so, you can go in deep and find things, little snippets that fit or whatever, but maybe that's an interesting thing to put out there. I'm sure we have musicians or someone that, again, not as the person who's always happening, but if we could get a little, 20-second little something set to music about Liberty Lake, that might be a fun engagement opportunity as well.
Well, we got those musicians that play at the farmer's market every week.
Yes, sir, they do. I bet somebody could write a little Liberty Lake song. If they want.
yeah, there's somebody who played a corn. I remember.
And occasionally.
Okay.
You do.
was his last name
Moving
Yankovic?
on. Yeah. City Academy.
Quick update on that. Mark McAvoy is looking at maybe somewhere around a 9-part series at this point. As far as scheduling, not absolutely set, but he's looking at something between the time of when after spring break happens at the local schools to when schools go out during the summer. Of course, ideal time to get the parents there. We don't want to have a week there where some parents may be off on vacation for spring break. So I think that's what, first week of April, if I remember right, looking at the calendar.
Yeah, first week of April.
So City Academy is looking at starting sometime April, maybe, and then wrapping up maybe sometime no later than June. And let's see, Mark is looking at possible sessions involving city partners. I won't go into specifics yet because, again, nothing's set in stone yet, but some of the ways that the city is working with possibly organizations, businesses to provide services for residents in the area. And Mark was also interested in your assistance in who can some of you individually recruit to come to this? Who are the people that you know, neighbors, people you work with, people you go to organizations with, who could benefit from attending a series like this and possibly be interested in being a candidate for a planning commission or adding to one of our empty seats at the CEC or running for city council, parks and arts, etc. Also think about where and how can we promote this? I've certainly got my ideas, but you also know things that I would not have in my head. So think about where we could, what organizations you interact with, what groups of people you interact with to spread the word out on this. And promotions, of course, would have to, if this were to start in April, promotions, of course, would need to be starting easily sometime in March. So that's kind of the time frame we're looking at that. And I think that is all I have as far as an update. We probably will have more specifics for you in February.
Okay, yeah, that would be better, yeah, it would be nice with more specifics, and I think we can provide you
Mhm.
some more information on what you just requested from us, promotions and observations and all of this. Okay. Put that on my CEC membership update. Joy Peters resigned her position on December the 31st. And we did interview a new person, and she sits down in the audience. Welcome, Cynthia. Gomez. She lives in the River District. As far as I know, she will be on the agenda for the next. city council
Correct. We
meeting.
can take you to that point. You are on the agenda. You will be on the agenda for the next city council meeting. Once that's officially confirmed, we look forward to having you in one of these seats here next month.
Yeah,
And
Thanks for coming tonight.
she'll be in the at-large position. Two more. Yeah.
The question is, when you see where they open.
Oh, I'd have to look that up. They're both not in the same district. River District is filled. I know that.
We have filmed it.
I think there's, yeah, one more in your area. I think. I'd have to look at the website to get specifics.
okay. Yeah, so, no, we just. Moving on, next meeting, requested items for the agenda, so we already have some of those items,
Mailer card,
yeah. We're gonna just discuss in the mailer, and then. You can get us some more information, David, with regards to how we're, you see us and how we can try and promote and help. With the city podcast or city
Yep.
academy.
those are
We
ongoing.
need more information there. And
Update on the website.
update on the website, for the event calendar.
And then I'm assuming we'll have something from the city council meeting or the workshop on the 7th.
Yeah, there'll be probably some kind of follow-up from that.
And do we yet have some sort of funnel from city council to us? Like, things they might need it for? So we started out strong that way, but like they were just dictating kind of what we needed to do.
I think I have something, and David and I talked about it, because Lisa Keys had something for us, and I remember watching it on the.
I think around sometime in the summer. I need to follow up with her on that.
But so that's for the next agenda, is follow up with Lisa Keys, and then we may have her come at one of our meetings and then explain the purpose, needs, the project.
We don't know what the purpose of the project is.
I need to follow up. It's been a few
No,
months since
I
you
just
brought it up to
remember
me.
when she talked that night, there's another project coming up to give you. a full explanation.
Okay.
And then, so I comment, and I was, and David said, let's find out about this, so that, we have more than 3 weeks to plan it out. Like, yeah,
It's true.
we all like to get stressed.
But we should get a place on the agenda for that. Some sort of,
Yeah,
something we address every meeting with where we at with them instead of just this sort of, oh yeah, remember that thing that happened. Actual true agenda space.
yeah, I like that, let's have a true agenda space for that.
You're talking about for city council or for this?
For our liaison,
Yeah,
our,
City council.
yeah.
Yeah.
What they need from us, what we need from them.
Yeah,
Because I feel like we get that update. That's part of what we're doing here, but it would be nice if we had that as a agenda item that we typically address.
Absolutely.
so we have an ongoing list that's, again, a living list, and then. I know, I'm sorry. It means it's ongoing, but it's evergreen. Next meeting is February 15th, 2023, 6:00 p.m. Can you ready for that? Everybody can make it?
Maybe no, that's 2 weeks.
Potential work travel day.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Ooh, funny.
did I miss anything for the good of the order? Probably adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
All right. Good